Not to do this to LeBron James or anything, but let's just say he said, I identify as a woman.
Yeah.
And he went to the WNBA, destroyed them. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
So me as a man, if I started taking a whole bunch of estrogen or some type of hormones to become a woman, and 5 years later I meet you guys, you would view me as just as much of a woman as you are
Yes,
right
of
now?
course.
Guys, y'all looking at the thumbnail, y'all looking at the title of the video, y'all already know what time it is. It is time to get active. Shout out to my Instagram at Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. It's long, but you know how to spell. If you don't, there's a link to it down in the description box down below. I call it out because this content comes directly from there. Title of this video, really? Should men play in women's sports? And it's this young man that's going around, I believe he's on a college campus, and he's asking, should men, biological males, play with biological females in their sports? Very interesting conversation. Without further ado,
Do you all think it is okay for a man who identifies as a woman to enter female sports and play against females as a biological male?
Yes, I think it's fair.
Of course.
I think it's fine. You can't tell somebody what they feel as a gender. If they feel like they're a female and they want to compete in female sports, then it should be allowed.
Because if she is a woman, then she's supposed to play with other women and women's sports.
I don't think it's fair to the women. Biologically, there are differences with men and women.
Their biological
some
built
logic.
is masculine, so I can see where people get upset, but it's not something that you can restrict them on because they want to identify as a woman.
okay, yeah, classic fact over feelings, or feelings over facts, rather, as if the size of the man's hands, as if his ability to grow muscles, as if his reaction time has no type of implication on putting someone that has testosterone, more testosterone in their body naturally in the same sport, in the same division as someone else that does not. This is this whole women's equality shit, irrespective of visibly taking a look at the chemicals in one's body or visibly taking a look at the musculature difference between the two and saying, well, no, that's just, if they identify as a woman, let them play in the sport. Not only is it not fair to the women that have trained their lives in their natural bodies, but it's also dangerous.
Okay, so the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Equality Act on Friday, which would force federally funded organizations to adhere to someone's gender identity. So if they want to enter sports, if they want to go into female bathrooms or male bathrooms, depending on the person, they have to adhere to that. Yeah. It hasn't passed the Senate yet, so it's still a bill, it's not law. But is that something you guys would support?
I could support that.
I feel like that's fine.
Yeah.
Again, you can't tell somebody they feel a certain way.
Yeah.
You can't jurisdict that.
I think it can cause really some drama because now we have to kind of tiptoe around, make sure we don't misgender people.
You have these biological males entering the sport, but the females in the sport, a lot of them don't want them in there because as soon as they come in, they dominate, putting these women at a disadvantage. And they've been fighting for that their whole lives.
Right.
So is that
but
the right thing?
It's just like anything, transgender or not. There's always can be somebody that comes in and can dominate the field.
They would feel more comfortable participating among females than with other males, I think.
So my question to that, I'm almost saying my devil's advocate or whatever, but there are women who feel uncomfortable with these people coming in there. Transgender athletes would be a huge minority compared to an actual female athlete in this situation. So should we cater to the minority at the expense of the majority?
No.
Yes.
Really?
I think so.
Wow. Shout out to the brother that's conducting the conversation in this way. He's asking these very kind of calm, logical questions in order to put them in thought mode. He's not coming at them in a way to make them defensive, but throwing up these ideas in a logical sequence together to get them to challenge their belief. You get these young people that have been taught one thing their entire life and they didn't have the opportunity to actually consider different ideas. So kudos to the interviewer because I think he's doing a fantastic job of asking in a way to really get their gears turning.
Think so.
We shouldn't be catering to their issue. I feel like It's more of an emotional thing that needs to be addressed.
She's
Telling
cool.
them no, and you can't do this. That's really heartbreaking. So I don't know if there should be.
But isn't that like more of an emotional response though? It's like
Yeah.
emotion as opposed to logic. Do you play sports?
Listen, at the end of the day, if I am a a man and I'm saying, hey guys, listen, you got to create a new league for me. Why? Because I identify with anteater, okay? I need a league created for me for anteaters. And all of my anteater friend buddies, right, who have no DNA from an anteater, but because of how I identify, I demand that this new league be created. Should it be created? Irrespective of the science that goes into what I am stating, I'll let you be the judge for that.
Yeah, I used to.
What sport?
I did swimming for a while.
Okay. So what if Rod here came into your sport, he got some long
Socratic
hair, put it in the
method.
sports, identifies as a woman now, came in, started dominating you. You finished first all the time. He comes in, he's first now. He gets the scholarship he wanted.
That pushes me that much harder.
He don't agree.
To beat him.
But he has a physical disadvantage. I mean, he has
Look.
a physical advantage over you, and he's faster, he's stronger, and no
I
matter
would
what
be
you
upset. Yeah, I would be upset 100%. I can see where these girls are coming from.
I was on the wrestling team in high school. I was the only girl.
do. Okay.
And I hated the meets, like where I'd have to actually wrestle other guys, and they're strong. They're way stronger than me. Like, I would do the same exercises, whatever, do extra time in the gym, and I'd still get beat up in front of everyone.
Not to do this to LeBron James or anything, but let's just say he said, I identify as a woman.
Yeah,
And he went to the
wanted to join.
WNBA,
Yeah.
destroyed them. Championship after championship after
Yeah.
championship. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
That's okay.
For me, it's okay.
At this point, if this young brother agrees to this, he's just agreeing for the viscous innards. I mean, you can't get any more clear than that. He's been quiet for a long time now. I know my brother over here is focusing on her because she seems to be the one with all the ideas. But at first, he was in complete agreement with her. Now I'm taking a look at him and his body language, and he's like, what do I do here? Do I agree with what makes sense, or do I continue to slay the buns? Let's keep going.
Okay.
Just the women need to work harder then.
Women need to work harder to compete with LeBron James.
I think that they 100% can.
There's a
I think that
ceiling,
they
mama.
To
can.
beat LeBron James?
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
Okay. And
Why not? What
Be honest.
ridiculous.
I mean, I think that would be unfair because
It is unfair.
his height and his weight and his strength.
you said his, so he would
Oh,
technically-
well, her right. Her height, weight, and strength compared to naturally born women will be way off the charts compared to them.
But don't that sound weird to
He
you to just
converted
change
him.
it up to her, and LeBron James is a dude?
Yeah, but after it takes getting used to.
I think that mentally they were always whatever gender they identified as, but now physically they are also that gender.
Would that same thing apply if the person thought they were like a dog or a reptile?
Well, no, because
Why?
Because-
What's the difference?
well, you can't
Uh-oh.
you can't get like
You haven't seen people
What's the
who've
difference?
gone through like surgeries to look more like a reptile?
no.
Yes.
Get their tongue split and they get all the
Ripley's,
tattoos
believe it or
and
not.
stuff. So I mean, they're a reptile, right?
Yeah, like that guy.
So you got one trans athlete, you got 100 female athletes. You
Right.
should cater to that one trans athlete, allow them in while the women are
trans,
saying
questions?
no.
no, the trans athletes should adjust to the sport how it is.
Yeah, but the sport how it is women only.
Well, I mean, if they identify as a woman, then they should be allowed to join.
So a man who identifies as a woman is as much of a woman as you are?
I think so.
Really?
Wow.
What do you say to people that say you're wrong? Biological males who identify as women should be able to play against women because they are women. What do you say to that?
I would say think about it a little bit more. Think about the biological aspect. Ignore the emotions.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard for that gender confused
Shout out to her.
person in a lot of aspects of their life, not just competitive sports. If they want to do competitive sports, then maybe they shouldn't take estrogen, and maybe they should embrace their testosterone and win against the guys.
So as you see, folks, you cannot agree with everyone you find on this planet, which is evident in most of my conversations. Nevertheless, you can have a conversation and be able to talk to them about whatever you're talking to them about. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
Absolutely. Guys, I'm gonna leave a link to this video down in the description box down below so you can go up there and look at the video without my comments or all the other videos that are on the channel. But what I also find so interesting, which is demonstrated within this video, is that the people that mostly support this idea of equality amongst the sexes when it comes to competitive sports or competitive athletes is women. And why is that? Because of feminism. So when you think about the supportive organizations that pushes ideas so heavily into the masses, and especially our young people, you have to consider how apt that we are, because we are tribal people, into believing something that appeals to our feelings. What I've begun to understand, especially being a content creator, is number one, the power of speech, the power of influence. And then number two, being able to appeal to people's feelings as opposed to their logic. That's why I'm so happy to have such a large community of people that are putting facts over feelings, that are putting logic, data, and statistics over emotions when it comes to dealing with these very sensitive and unique topics. What I find is that, there's a lot of things to consider within life, and oftentimes people are just looking for an opinion, and there's a lot of work sometimes to do research or due diligence into making sure that your opinion is most aligned to what is considered the truth. So we must continue to go over content like this to provide a perspective closer to what's more beneficial for us in general. All right. Last but not least, I got a Patreon. Guys, if you want to continue to support the message that comes out of this channel, go down, click on that link, beam up, come support your boy so we can make sure to keep the train moving. Until next time, YouTube.